After last week's conclusion at the Jägermeister Cup group stage, playoff pushes persist in League One. We're at CHI Memorial Stadium where Chattanooga looks to get into the playoff picture. Madison want to keep climbing the table. The USL League One is presented by Transcard. Hello and welcome, I'm Ryan Lee, so happy with you this evening, and both teams look to continue climbing the table, but for very different reasons. The Red Wolves are only 1 point behind South Georgia Tormenta for the 8th and final playoff slot, where neither side have made it back since their final showdown back in 2022. Madison have escalated their way up to 4th, but the earlier afternoon draw between One Knox and Charlotte puts them, as well as Union Omaha, as the only roadblocks for Madison to get the Players' Shield as the top team in the regular season. However, it's going to be a tough task ahead for both squads, as the previous matchups both came down to a single goal differential. Last month in the Jägermeister Cup, the Wolves and the Mingos went blow for blow back at Bree Stevens Field, where a set piece from Devin Boyce would end things for Madison, winning the second of their 4 encounters. A 2-1 win for Madison put them in position to win the Central, with a play in the semis on Wednesday. Boyce delivered the knockout punch, and he'll have to be at his best for Madison. His 4 regular season goals were good enough for second on the team and a new career high personally. The 27-year-old plays in his 95th League One match, and he'll continue to be called upon for Matt Glazier and the Mingos. Chattanooga's player to watch is brought to you by News 12, and Rapapa Mensah will be presenting an offensive threat no matter where he is for the Wolves. The 27-year-old from Ghana is in his 151st match professionally played, and his 6 goals leads the team in the regular season. Mensah's been the man for the 2024 Chattanooga Red Wolves. With 7 regular season games left, 21 points remain in the 2024 season. Chattanooga need only 1 point to hop above the playoff line. Madison are 4 back from first place. Lineups and kickoff are next.
I need to try it first.
Sports are lifestyle. Teammate trust tackle ball. Electrolytes equal mouth success. Artificial flavor, optimized for victory times.
Artificial? Nah. Body Armor knows nothing in sports should be artificial, because there's no substitute for real. Real sweeteners, real flavors, real love of sport. Body Armor. Nothing is more real.
Do you know how fast you were going? 2.5 gig. With kids on the couch.
New 2.5 gig internet from EPB.
Slow down.
It's recklessly fast.
Too fast.
With SmartNet plus Wi-Fi.
Violation.
Turbocharging all your devices. More than twice the speed of the gig for just a little more. Only from EPB.
That is recklessly fast.
We're back here at CHI Memorial Stadium, with the Chattanooga Red Wolves starting 11 is brought to you by Center Sports Medicine, where there's going to be a couple of changes for both sides, as Lukic, Mensah, and Marsh continue to be the trio up top, despite the return of Siobhan Marsh and Rapapa Mensah, who have really been that 1-2 tandem. Malongo is available, but he's going to be in the bench despite being out last week due to yellow card accumulation. And speaking of yellow card accumulation, Owen Green being out provides an opportunity for Gustavo Fernandez to fill in. Jamil Roberts, he returns from red card suspension in his game versus One Knox a couple weeks ago. So having Roberts back in the mix, along with Fernandez, Marsh, and Mensah, all of them together, should really provide something for Scott McKenzie, especially considering they only need a single point to get back into the playoff picture. They'll hope to do so with the starting 11 that Scott McKenzie has presented in this evening's match. And for Matt Glazier, he is making 2 changes, with Derek Gebhardt starting his 93rd match in 107 matches played total in USL League One. Shalaka has a center back tandem with Timmy Mail, who spent parts of 2019 and 2022 with Chattanooga Red Wolves, and Jimmy Villalobos in the midfield makes his 100th start in USL League One. He spent 56 of his 110 appearances with the Chattanooga Red Wolves, a pair of reappearances for some ex-Red Wolves back at CHI Memorial Stadium for Matt Glazier and the Mingos. As we take a look at center pitch, the forward Madison Flamingos, both where they have been so strong throughout the entire season. 25 points in the standings puts them at third going into today, fourth after the draw between Charlotte and Knox, which just concluded moments ago. In Chattanooga Red Wolves, they sit at 5-9-1 in the regular season. 16 points, is only one back underneath the playoff line. They want to jump South Georgia Tormenta, considering how they played against each other in 2022. The last time the Ibises or the Wolves made the playoff race was in that 2022 final. They both want to get back into the playoff hunt, but if Chattanooga wants to do so, they'll have to take down the side that won it all 2 seasons ago. As the Red Wolves faithful continue to pound along for this Chattanooga Red Wolf side, a lot has been made of this game considering how things didn't necessarily go Chattanooga's way in the Jägermeister Cup, but in the regular season they've been able to make things go considering how things went last week in that 2-2 thriller versus Lexington at Toyota Stadium last week. It could present a lot of opportunity. That was the first win all season that Chattanooga have had after conceding the first goal, let alone conceding the first 2. Hopefully, if for Chattanooga, things can really turn into the positives if they don't allow the first goal in 56 seconds like they did to Alexis Cerritos last week in Lexington. But with forward Madison, it's going to present an opportunity no matter who is going to be their opponent, because they lead the entirety of League One or are close to the top of League One in pretty much every single team statistical category are the Mingos. As we see the Red Wolves break up their huddle, forward Madison FC, they are in white. They will start off this first half going left to right. The Chattanooga Red Wolves in the all reds are going right to left in the all reds. Igor Baich with Marcus Moss and Sarah Gaddis are the officiating crew, with Kyle Johnston, the 4th official. We're here at CHI Memorial Stadium, game number 16 of 22 in the USL League One regular season. We await the start of the match as we get things started. Chattanooga and Madison, game 16 of 22 in the regular season. Madison are 4 back of the top of the table. Chattanooga need a singular point to get back into the playoff picture. Ryan Lee and our entire ESPN Plus broadcast crew, we thank you so much for joining us here this evening. Maybe take some break for some football to join us for some football as we take a look at the officiating crew. Igor Baich, Marcus Moss, Sarah Gaddis, and Kyle Johnson are our officiating crew. And with both of these two sides are very much streaking in some very different directions here. Chattanooga, that win versus Lexington. If you put things on a technical side, they haven't won regulation in 5. But if you want to count that Lexington game last week as a win for Scott McKenzie and his team, that win in penalties against Madison, it broke multiple streaks. It broke a 4-game winless streak. It also provided Chattanooga with their first win after conceding the first goal. And it also provided Chattanooga with their first PK win in the Jägermeister Cup. Some discussions already between the officiating crew and Stefan Lukic, as forward Madison will take over after the stoppage in play, who are streaking in their own right. They've been unbeaten in their last 5. Madison have had as many as an 8-game unbeaten streak. That one came all the way back from May to June. However, the 2 streaks that they face were comprised slightly differently, but they'll have to comprise their defense as it gets split out wide for the streak up ahead. Roberts into the area, overhead. Shipman lets that one go out of play for the first goal kick. Burnt Shipman continues to be in net for forward Madison. He has played every single match in this 2024 season for Matt Glazer. He has been pretty much perfect the entire way through, because he and the Mingos have led the entirety of USL League One in clean sheets, not just in the regular season, but across all of the League One competitions. And with Chattanooga, they'll have to rely a lot on TJ Bush, who's been a huge contributor themselves. There goes Matt Glazier in game number 85 as a head coach, looking for win number 30. The last match versus Omaha put them at tie number 30, 29, 26, and 30 for Matt Glazier. He wants to get that win, to get him at win number 30. And also, he has never beaten the Chattanooga Red Wolves in regulation. He's only done so one time. He did get those 2 wins, but those were in the Jägermeister Cup. They do count slightly differently because it's a separate competition. As we saw that last match between Madison when they were out against Union Omaha, brackets Bree Stevens Field, that back and forth affair where it started off 2-1 in favor of the Mingos, and then the Owls took over to make that one 3-2, and then it was equalized late to force that one to PKs, where a win of any fashion for Forward Madison allowed them to win the Central Group in the USL Jägermeister Cup, in which they did in PKs. But now Madison will have to be back on defense as Burn Shipman was unable to save that one off the line. It'll provide the first corner kick opportunity for Chattanooga. Chattanooga, you might look at the regular season numbers and maybe, for lack of a better term, point some fingers as to why they might be struggling. But one reason they are absolutely excelling at is scoring goals. They're top 5 in that category, and they have been able to produce on set pieces, with the first one taken by Omar Gonzalez. He goes short. Gonzalez with a quick step over for Lukic. Lukic getting harassed by Juan Galindres, where eventually it falls out of play, so it'll be a rewind and repeat for the Wolves. Omar Gonzalez is tasked with the corner kicks. He scored his first professional goal last week versus Lexington on a set piece from distance. He set the outswinger up into the area. Nobody there. Mensah with a swing. That goes off a body. Retreated back by Jameel Roberts. He's back in action after getting a red card against Knoxville. Had to serve his 1-match suspension against Lexington. But he comes back into this matchup, but it's going to go for a Burn Shipman goal kick. Madison's a squad that holds themselves to a very high standard. They want to make sure that every time they're out on the pitch that they can play up to their potential. And there was some notice from Matt Glazier how there's a lot of excitement from the team because every opportunity to win a trophy is an opportunity to win a trophy. That's pretty much the way he put it. Very cut and dry, Matt Glazier is. Doesn't really beat around the bush too much. And with the opportunity to not only make one playoff, with them being very healthily in the regular season standings, getting a chance to play in the Jägermeister Cup semifinals kind of adds a little bit to this Forward Madison side, who want to make sure that they're in those positions to get the trophies. In order to get so, you have to make your respective playoffs. They sit at 4th in the regular season standings. They were 3rd going into today, but the tie with 1 Knox levels them at 3rd apiece. Papa Mensah comes up ahead as he's watched by Shalaka. Tries to go for center, but cut off only by Timmy Mail, who lets that one flutter out of play. Goal kick, Burn Shipman. A lot of players have had some crossover with this Chattanooga Red Wolves side from Forward Madison. We talked about some of the players. Juan Galindres is one of those as he retrieves. Galindres spent 2021 and 2022 with the Red Wolves. He sends that one back as the Mingos are back with possession. Here goes Jimmy Villalobos, another ex-Red Wolf who spent time between 2021 and 2022. But it's held off for Ferdy Sosa. Boyce. narrowly escaping, but now Gebhardt has an opportunity. He splits it out for Boyce. Boyce towards center to the area, just goes wide. Offside regardless, but a nice opportunity for Madison to try to threaten early. Galindra is arguing he was shoved from behind, but the call will go towards Madison as we have our first replay brought to you by Rodriguez Dentistry. Score with a winning smile. As it was just split out wide, Devin Boyce to send it inside Galindras. He had a nice touch on it, just got it wide, but doesn't really matter anyways because it got pushed aside. And contact between these two teams is something we can absolutely expect. We're only 8 minutes in, a couple opportunities already for both sides. As that one just sputters towards Shipman. 75-degree day here in Chattanooga, Tennessee. It's only going to be about the same the entire way through. About a dozen-mile-per-hour wind coming northeast, but it shouldn't really play that big of a factor in the grand scheme of things. No precipitation to speak of, which is always good to see, especially if you're Chattanooga, considering that game versus Lexington last week where they got delayed by 3 hours and about 20 minutes. That one turned into League One after dark by the time that one kicked off. Madison have had a bulk of the possession so far in this first 9.25 minutes. However, I can argue that Chattanooga have had the more threatening opportunities so far. But the stoppage goes in Chattanooga's favor. Gustavo Fernandez to send it away. Fernandez, the last match versus Lexington was his 100th in USL League One. Today marks USL League One match number 101 and start number 89. As that one gets sent all the way, Shipman will send it off again. And if you had to ask Scott McKenzie what he had to say about that Lexington match, it was a lot of grit, resilience, and belief in one another. It's a thing that has been kind of missing a little bit in this 2024 season, considering some of the tumultuous circumstances, the renovation of the pitch to start the season off, the myriad of injuries they've had, many of them season-ending, many of them just long-term, with guys missing a month plus in many circumstances. And how it's something that they really miss from their DNA, being able to get those points from behind. It's something that really allowed them to get the finals appearance in 2022. Galindras from distance is easily scooped up by TJ Bush. We saw a couple of threatening opportunities go Burn Shipman's way. That's the first one for TJ Bush, who rolls it off. So we take another look. That one was just a quick little fall behind off of Fala and allowed Galindras a slight window of opportunity to send it towards Bush. Mensah wanted to turn around, and it goes for a Chattanooga throw. No one's there except for a couple jerseys in the white, but quick turnover over Hernandez. Goes from distance, blocked by Mail. Follow-up chance, can't go by Roberts. Still in play for Chattanooga as Fala prevents the ball from going beyond the center line. And that's where Chattanooga will hang tight. Good to see Jamil Roberts, ever since his red card suspension last week versus Lexington, getting very involved in these plays up pitch to start things off. Leo Fala holds on. He got the game-tying goal versus Lexington in the 92nd to force that game into PKs, where Chattanooga got their first win in 4 matches. A chance up ahead. Lukic, stutter steps, out wide, sends it in, headed on, scores! Siobhan Marsh, his first goal in almost 2 months, gets Chattanooga up early, 1-0, 13 minutes in. Nice play here by Chattanooga. We just said that they've probably had the more threatening opportunities in the first dozen minutes. That's exactly what happened. They go against the grain. Lukic out wide, and the feed goes back towards the box. Looks like the whole defense shifted towards the outside feed attempt by Pedro Hernandez. Left Marsh alone for the header. That's his first goal in just shy of 2 months. July 13th was the last time Siobhan Marsh found the back of his net. That's his 7th of the entire League One season, if you add in the Jägermeister Cup numbers as well. And the 30-year-old from Jamaica gets the party started here at CHI Memorial Stadium. That is only the 11th time this season across all of the competitions that Chattanooga has scored first. They've mustered up points in 7 of those 10 so far, with 6 of them being wins. Madison have not found themselves behind very often, only a dozen times in this, only half a dozen times in this season. Of the 25 total matches for forward Madison, they've gone down first only 6 times, and of those 6, a singular win. Losses otherwise. And for Chattanooga, if they want to get back in this playoff picture, this is a great start to have. Assist credited by Pedro Hernandez. Hernandez gets his first assist of the 2024 season. He did not play in the Jägermeister Cup match back in August versus forward Madison, but gets to do so, and that hard shove down by Boyce will be a shove and a stop. It was Thala and Boyce just tangoing towards the corner. Jamil Roberts actually, who's a little slow there. As off of the throw-in attempt, Boyce and Roberts were just going at each other, and Boyce just with a full two-handed shove down. Scrap at center will stall things right at the center line. And with the early 1-0 advantage, it's really going to start putting a clamp on things, considering the first time these two played back in June, it was a 1-0 win for forward Madison. And then we talked about in the open that 2-1 win back at Bree Stevens about a month ago in the Jägermeister Cup. They were both Jägermeister Cup matches, actually. As at the end of the little kerfuffle there, Stefan Lukic will take a booking. 7th time he's done so this season. Quick chance to tightrope the end line, attempted there by Gebhard. We were Retrieves it back. Gebhardt to twirl. And retreats it back for Shalaka. But he's got to look out. He had a man in pursuit. And that's a thing that is going to be a key for Madison trying to deal with Chattanooga's counterattack. But Murphy, he's got a lane. Murphy shoots. Saved by Bush. A nice stop there by TJ Bush. He leads the entire league in saves. 76 in the regular season in 22 matches. But now a chance for Chattanooga to double down as it's being held on. Marsh left it for Hernandez. Chattanooga want to make it in. They understand there's a whole 21 points up for grabs with 7 regular season games remaining. And Scott McKenzie brought up a very interesting point, how the gap from the bottom playoff spot where Chattanooga sits currently at 5-9-1, they're only 3 wins behind the team at the top of the table, the Charlotte Independents, who are sitting at 8 wins. So when you kind of consider and zoom out and look at the playoff picture, Scott McKenzie, despite some of the adversity that this Chattanooga side have dealt with the multiple season-ending injuries, or some of the guys who've been out for a month plus ramp-up period, he said they're very much still in the thick of things because that the margins are so small, and it really comes down to a couple of ties if you really do the math. And at the end of the day, anyone can win on any day, and that's the thing that this Chattanooga side will have an opportunity to hang their hats on, especially if they want to continue building momentum towards the playoff push, having to outduel some of the teams in front of them. Tormenta, Spokane amongst the mix, but Madison, they're in the mix and the attack. Towards center, attempted there, but it was off of a wonky bounce there off of Galindres, but Gebhardt recovers. Back in front, turnaround kick. It was just wide for Murphy, but it's held down by Sosa. Boyce, 20th minute. Look for the tie. Sosa for Boyce. Right now, Chattanooga trying to keep everything outside. Murphy wanted the back heel. Only one in the direction of the back heel was Walefi dos Reyes. An attempt to go deep. Sprint up ahead goes Pedro Hernandez. Hernandez one-on-one with Krull, and Krull will be the one to walk away with it as the Mingos want to transition. It's a foot race between Jean Hope and Galindres, but Jean Hope is the first one there to poke it out of play. Toby Jean Hope has started in all of the 4 matches that he's been available for selection ever since being signed on to the squad in late July. Coca-Cola is the exclusive soft drink of the Chattanooga Red Wolves. In front, John Hope with the deflection, still in possession of Madison. Hesitation, Prentice towards the area, out of play. But good news for Madison, they've got their first corner of the evening. It's going to be Devin Boyce to take an in-swinger on deck. Boyce high up, and only one with the hands is Bush. He goes, it's 1-on-1, Marsh and Shipman stops things before Marsh can get the brace. But that doesn't mean they're in the clear yet. Chattanooga gets the throw. Check out the new 2024 Chattanooga Red Wolves kit along with t-shirts, scarves, and novelty items, and much more at ChattanoogaRedWolves-SC.com. Speaking of the Red Wolves, they're still very much in possession as of now. As that one goes behind the intended target before it goes for another Chattanooga throw. Despite it currently sitting about 2/3 of Madison's possession, I could very much argue that to start things off, Chattanooga have had more opportunities in terms of shot attempts. They do have an edge 3-2. However, only one shot on net for the Wolves, and that one found the back of the net off of the header from Siobhan Marsh. A chance to go up ahead for Wolfgang Prentice, but he's offside. Madison want to push upward before it's cut off by Chattanooga. Falls right at center, Devin Boyce. Boyce awaits his options. And he's got the follow-up there by Timmy Mail. He spent part of 2022 and 2019 with Chattanooga, spending a total of 26 matches with the Red Wolves, where he scored 2 goals throughout that tenure for the center back. Back heel, Galindres makes one miss, makes another man miss. Galindres with a shot off of the legs of John Hope, out of play, corner for Madison. Nice solo opportunity there for Juan Galindres. He made 2 defenders miss, but Toby John Hope was the one to get in the way to force the corner instead of forcing things to go back to center. But that doesn't mean that Madison don't have a chance to equalize. Prentice has Boyce alongside him. Prentice on the in-swinger. Back post cut off, still alive for Madison. Bouncing ball swung partially by Mail. Up for grabs before it's cleared out by Leo Falla. Mail could not contain, throw in Chattanooga. Body Armor is the official sports drink of the Chattanooga Red Wolves. One nothing from Chattanooga, where the home side has the advantage. The header from Siobhan Marsh, the assist from Pedro Hernandez. Marsh's 7th of the 2024 League One season. And Hernandez with his first. And with Marsh, he's really one of those very dangerous players. McKenzie mostly talked about his ability to dribble and create space, and that's where he was able to find the soft spot. But now Gebhardt trying to find the soft spot. The Chattanooga defense fed up in front, and the only one is there for the reception is the goaltender for the Chattanooga Red Wolves, TJ Bush, who has been in net the whole way through, coming off from the last 2 seasons with South Georgia Tormenta, where he won a League One title against the Chattanooga Red Wolves as the backup for Pablo Jara. Doesn't mean he hasn't had his opportunities to come around. 49 appearances for the 26-year-old goalkeeper Bush. And he had to hold on strong, make a couple of saves in the PKs against Lex Sporting last week. Scrap in the bench area, out of play. Chattanooga continues to push this one upward. mentioned the 2 wins for Madison over Chattanooga in this 2024 head-to-head season, but if you chalk it down to only regular season play, Matt Glazier has only beaten the Red Wolves once in regular season play. And he mentioned every single one of these games requires the finest of margins to skim by with the results, and how there's no easy games and no room for error, especially because they want to advance their seeding at the end of the day. Maybe not just getting a player shield, but maybe trying to get a home game in the League One playoffs as well. Interception there by Chattanooga. Served across. Roberts couldn't get past Sosa. Boyce, full sprint ahead. And Roberts was able to chase it back, not before things get stalled by the whistle. Yellow card, Jamil Roberts. As we take a look here in pursuit, Boyce, he got the touch up, and right after Boyce got the touch, Roberts got the chop down on the legs. Jamil Roberts will have to be careful. He is already dealing with the red card suspension that he missed versus Lexington. Couldn't attend that game because he was serving suspension, and I'm sure if you're Scott McKenzie, the last thing you want is to miss someone like that again. He's played 20 matches in this season, has Roberts, who was actually on that 2022 Tormenta side that took down Chattanooga in the League One finals. But just like we saw in the last corner, it's Boyce with Prentice alongside him. Chattanooga, they've been so good on the set pieces. When they played against Madison, they'll have to hold off here. This is a whole crowd at the 18. We're at the half an hour. Madison want a chance to answer back on Siobhan Marsh's header back in the 13th. Prentice cut off, out of play. Corner for Madison. Madison as a squad, they've been so efficient in pretty much every single competition. If you count their Jägermeister Cup totals as well, they have the most points. If you were to combine the 2 competitions, they're tied for the most with Northern Colorado. The Boyce to serve. Up for grabs, punched out by Bush, still alive. Distance try for Villalobos. Into the stands it goes. And Bush will send it off for a goal kick. Metro is the official HVAC company of the Chattanooga Red Wolves. Villalobos heads it for Kroll, but Marsh is harassing him, enough for a foul. The USL Jägermeister Cup knockoffs kick off on Wednesday, September the 11th. 2-seeded Madison FC host the 3-seed Charlotte Independence at 7 p.m. Eastern, followed by the top seed Northern Colorado Hailstorm facing off against the number 4 seed Union Omaha at 9 Eastern. All of it on ESPN+. That's going to be a very intriguing matchup between the 2 leads of the Central Group and the Eastern Group with Charlotte and Madison. We talked about earlier in the open actually how Madison currently have the 1 seed in the regular season standings. Madison only 4 points going into the match, 3 points behind going into the day. So this could potentially swing some momentum for what's to come for both squads, both the Independents and the Mingos, considering how both squads and pretty much every coach has tried to use the Jägermeister Cup to advance the regular season. In front, Mensah goes for goal. He's just wide. Oh boy, Rapapa Mensah and Siobhan Marsh, what danger have they both posed? Mensah, he leads the team in terms of goals in the regular season. And we saw that try from distance there as Mensah from the wide angle beat out his man Mail. And had that one even cling to the post, this would be a much, much different game. Back and forth it goes again. We've got another booking. We've already seen a flurry of yellow cards already. This will bring up the third of the match. So it's going to be the third yellow on Chattanooga. Lukic is already on one, as is Jamil Roberts. A little bit of extracurriculars once again as Boyce gets into it with Roberts once more. Roberts was already there, and that was one too many for Devin Boyce. We saw that shove down from Boyce earlier on Roberts, and that time that was away from the play, out of it, and Boyce just got the legs tangled up there. All yellow cards on the away side, brought to you by Tennessee Highway Safety Office. That's the first yellow from Ford Madison today's match. So Jean Hope and Boyce with back-to-back yellows, only about a minute apart. Four bookings already, 3 to the home side as we're 10 minutes from the half. They'll get another throw, potentially a chance to build up on that lead. Chance inside for Omar Hernandez, couldn't quite get it to go, but a transition opportunity for Madison. Able to keep it in is Derek Gebhard, was just unable to tightrope that sideline. It goes out of play, Chattanooga throw. Back for Devin Boyce. Serves it up for Sosa. Sosa centers off of a body and out. That was Leo Fala who prevented that one from crossing the center for Galindres, who's wide open. But now Madison have got their fourth corner already. It was a huge point of emphasis all season for Scott McKenzie, those set pieces and defending. Really snuffed out all of Lexington's opportunities last week, who also had 4 in the first half. Now Madison, they've got 4 for the first half. Prentice for Boyce, returns for Prentice. Service, swing and a miss. Back in the area, and the only one available is Bush. Bush goes quick. He's got Jamil Roberts in space, but not before he's cut off by John Murphy. Boyce already back on the attack. He awaits reinforcements, has it in Murphy. Villalobos in the open space to nobody, as it's just a bobble back and forth. Chattanooga defender box. Galindras is there. He pokes it down. Follow-up goes off a body. Second chance. Gebhardt fires off of a leg again. Chattanooga selling out for those blocks. But they've done so well as they have kept Madison off the board for now. But they have to watch as Villalobos, he just elects to retreat it back from Michael Shalaka. And eventually the takedown on Chattanooga, they go quick with Boyce. Boyce, double teamed, stripped away of the ball. Lukic. Counter attack for Chattanooga. Marsh chips it up. He's got Jamil Roberts. Roberts, awkward bounce, still alive. And eventually it was just one scrap too many for Roberts. And now it goes the other direction. Heavy intensity here with about 7 minutes to go in the first half. And with forward Madison, they have been very much a team who have kind of had streaks of high goal scoring and strokes of lack thereof as well. They have the 4th most goals in regular season play. However, they have been in a bit of a cold streak as of late. They have scored 3 against Omaha the other week in the Jägermeister Cup, but when you take that one game in context, the previous 4 games, they had a combined 4 goals prior. A 2-2 draw versus Omaha, a 2-1 win versus Chattanooga back in Madison, and then a pair of back-to-back 0-0 decisions with Charlotte and Lexington before that 3-3 back-and-forth affair with Omaha. And with Madison, they've got to be able to find that goal scoring again if they want to continue climbing and even have an attempt at the Players' Shield. And sometimes it just comes down to finishing those opportunities. That was one of the key notes of contention that Matt Glazier had between that match between the Mingos and the Owls. And it's just one of those things, he said, especially because Omaha was playing so fearlessly. They knew that in order to counteract that, and with Omaha trying to get into the semifinals via most goals scored, they had to retaliate with doing the same. It just hasn't come necessarily in the last couple of matches. But on the flip side for the Mingos, they've defended very well, except for those 3 goals against Union Omaha as well. 3 goals allowed in the 4 matches prior to the Omaha match. So it's kind of been a tale of 2 sides. Yes, they've struggled to score goals, but they've also done a great job defending. So it's kind of pick your poison, if you will, of Madison's defense, which is currently the 2nd lowest goals against in the regular season, or their 4th most goals scored. But right now they need to get one back as they're back on their heels with Chattanooga pressuring with another throw-in upcoming, wanting to build on the 1-0 lead in the 42nd minute. Attempted clear by Kroll, hits a red jersey before it hits the boundary. USL Championship soccer continues on the ESPN networks in September with a matchup of top teams in the Eastern Conference. Detroit City FC takes on the Players' Shield leader Louisville City FC in a Sunday afternoon clash, September 22nd at 3 p.m. Eastern on ESPN2. Bobbled up in front, no follow-up for Mensah as it's eventually cut off there by forward Madison. Jamil Roberts intercepts before Boyce can capture. About 2.5 minutes into the regulation 45 before we dip into stoppage. Detroit City FC, one of the best teams in the USL Championship, Eastern Conference contenders. And one of the key figures of that Detroit City side is forward Madison midfielder John Murphy. His brother James, a part of that Detroit City side. Him and the rest of Detroit City going up against Lou City a couple weeks from now on ESPN2. Some of the USL Championship and League One crossover continuing. Doesn't matter who's playing. Whether it be Lexington getting promoted to USL Championship, whether it was those family connections we saw with the Murphys. USL very much still integrated into the thick of things, and don't forget about the Super League, who's been causing waves on the women's sports side. Dallas and DC amongst the many matchups in the Super League, if we want to talk about women's soccer and the waves being made there. But the waves for Madison to go up in front, and that one had to be tipped aside by Bush. Cuts off Gebhard for a chance at an equalizer. Oh boy, TJ Bush, 6'3", everything he needed to prevent that from being 1-1. Krull with the attempt there on the back pass. Galindres, he had Gebhard, and Jean Hope had some separation there, but that's a basketball level rebound there by Bush, but he's gonna have to keep an eye out as Madison are back on the attack once more with Gebhard. Gebhard in front, Galindres shoots and scores! This game's level at 1 apiece, just shy of half. Galindres, his 5th of the season, 28 in League One. We're at 1-1. Gebhard and Galindres, they've been surrounding the Chattanooga penalty area, and he just goes short side, which is not necessarily the thing you see too often. A lot of players tend to go far side, but not Galindres in that situation. Just a quick stop and turn, and despite Bush making a couple of exceptional saves, he couldn't get that one off the line. And because of the continuous action of play, it does not appear to be stoppage time allotted. It appears to just be 0 minutes of stoppage. They'll blow the whistle any moment. He will allow this thing to carry on, though, because that goal was so close to the buzzer. And because of the added goal and celebration ensuing, they've tacked on 3. Initially, they weren't going to have any, but because of the extracurriculars at the end of the goal, they slapped some on. So 2 extra minutes, served into the area. Galindres almost had the reception there, but was cut off from Gustavo Fernandez. Marsh and Mensah both in the area, and Timmy Mayo was a little tough on Marsh. Derek Gebhard on the assist of the Galindres goal. Gebhard, he's got his 3rd assist of the season. And for Juan Galindres, right at the 45, the ex-Chattanooga Red Wolf, he scored 23 goals in 53 matches with the Wolves. Got the game winner, the lone goal in that 1-0 match back in June. For Juan Galindres, he has something with scoring goals against his former side. Already done so twice in the 3 matches played. Final minute of stoppage. 1-1 aside. Settled down by Sosa. Works on Roberts. Sosa against the line. Out of play, last touch by Roberts. Corner kick number 5 of the half for forward Madison. Galindres for Gebhard at the 45th. Marsh from Hernandez on the 13th. We take a look at that last little play as Prentice is getting ready on that near side corner with Boyce. Settled down in front. Gebhard cannot get the swing on before it's eventually cleared by Chattanooga. Right into the crowd it goes. Nice little throw in there by him. As we're past the 3-minute mark, it's only a matter of when the final whistle of the half blows. But it's clipped up off the leg of Pedro Hernandez, and it will be another corner Madison's direction. We're beyond 3. How much further do we go from here? Near side, it was Prentice with Boyce on the assist. Now it's Boyce with Prentice nearby. Boyce on the in-swinger, cleared away by John Hope. Still alive from Villalobos. And eventually that will get blown down for the foul and the end of the first half. That'll do it for the first 45 and change. 1-1 is where we stand. A very eventful start to this match. And we're only halfway there. If you're looking for a credit union that knows you by name, check out Scenic Community Credit Union. Checking accounts that fit you. As we take a look at our halftime score, it's 1-1 after 45 minutes of play. More from the USL and League One when we return.
Sports or lifestyle. Teammate trust tackle ball. Electrolytes equal mouth success. Artificial flavor optimized for victory times.
Artificial? Nah. Body Armor knows nothing in sports should be artificial because there's no substitute for real. Real sweeteners, real flavors, real love of sport. Body Armor. Nothing is more real.
We return here at CHI Memorial Stadium, where it's 1-1 between the Chattanooga Red Wolves and Ford Madison. If you're looking for a credit union that knows you by name, check out Scenic Community Credit Union. Checking accounts that fit you. Well, it's been a very eventful 45 minutes of play here in Chattanooga, as you got that beautiful hue in the background in the horizon. It's been a beautiful week of Week 18 action as well, as we take a look at the highlights from around USL League One.
Onto the right foot to the end line, keeps it across. Will it set up for Tequila on the goal line? He'll knock it home in the end. In the right place at the right time for the 8th goal of the season in the USL League One for Kempis Tequila. Just between the pipes for Knoxville. Scooped forward by Waldeck. Longmire, the header at the back post, and he finds the back of the net. A great set piece from Spokane. And they find the equalizer.
Luis Alvarez flicked up in front of goal and into the roof of the net. Bounding in for the breakthrough, it's Clay Dimmick. Goes Belmar. Spot Sis, Omar Sis. Sis with a sizzling strike. Launch forward. Sorensen cut in. On by Johnson. Off by Obergon. Correa Still Dustin Correa, what a save, and then knocked in for good measure.
Playing the ball in behind. This is Sharice J. Knight makes the stop. Danger still present. Another incredible save. Lexington with excellent form as of late.
Still filing into Warner Park. Very large facility for the league standards. There's some slippage, and it finds the back of the net. A brutal mistake. It's a progressive ball, man down in the box, an immediate point to the spot. Textbook. Gallardo appeared through. And Gallardo delivers. Gallardo makes a deflection off the wall, and it finds its way in. The killer blow for Omaha. 3 goals for 3-point.
So good in front of him. There's some changes now. Again, here's Martinez. He's got the other side of the green, but defense beats Garner and finds the back of the net. It's 1-0 Noco in the 5th minute. Real Gill, the man from Trinidad. Even more than Sonny, he might not need him. Real Gill with the left foot, and it's 2-0. Track it back. Across towards the far post, and that's 3-0. It's too easy for Ethan Horde. Left unmarked at the far post, and he makes the triumph pay.
Is it somebody's birthday? Dad, come watch us hit this ugly piñata. Dad!
When Hornets show up, so do we. Terminix it.
This is the beginning. This is a first practice, a first video session, a first pregame talk. This is a first ticket, a first scarf raise, a first kickoff. This is a tapestry of clubs and players and communities inspired by those who blazed the trail for women's sports, ready to inspire the next generation. We are the USL Super League. We're part of a movement, and this is our moment.
New flavors. The same traditions. Be the guest of honor. Add more flavor to your parties. El Jimador. Spiked bebidas.
Beautifully done. Pino! My goodness! 2-0 for Birmingham. Worth takes it.
Oh, and it's in! Nate Worth with a moment of brilliance.
When mosquitoes show up, so do we. Terminix it.
Plenty of news and notes from around the USL and League One, as the USL League One Gold Boot leader Juan Carlos Obregon, representing Honduras, is in the CONCACAF Nations League, one of many USL players who are on international duty. There was that glorious photo of him and Noah Powder from Trinidad and Tobago squaring off against each other in the CONCACAF Nations League. That's going to be an interesting thing of how they'll come back when they return. And speaking of guys who have really taken a huge comeback, Lexington's Darren Powell is the League One Coach of the Month of August with the club's first ever unbeaten month. That's going to be something that'll be huge going forward, especially with their upcoming promotion into the USL Championship. And Northern Colorado's Ethan Horde had 2 goals and a single assist to get the August League One Player of the Month. Northern Colorado are in a heater. They want to keep that one rolling. As we take a look at the live scoreboard brought to you by Scenic Community Credit Union, and it's been a lot of low-scoring games to start things off. Only 1-0 between Omaha and Greenville, who are currently ongoing over in Papillion. And 1 Knox and Charlotte, we mentioned it earlier, they leveled things off at 1-1, which is why Knoxville is tied with Madison in 3rd place in the regular season standings. Charlotte, they just build that 1-goal cushion if Madison are able to get the win. That's going to give them a little bit of wiggle room atop of the Players' Shield rankings. Also got Lex Sporting and NoCo later tonight, with Central Valley and Spokane later on in the evening as well. Schedule going into next week will have a lot of action because we're all in regular season. Every single point matters. And for Chattanooga, they will be going off against the Greenville Triumph back at CHI Memorial. But not only will they keep an eye on what they do against Greenville, Spokane and Tormenta, they hold the 7 and 8 slots as of right now. And you also have Forward Madison, they'll be on a bye week. They're not back until the 21st. There is more from around the USL and League One. We saw plenty, but we've got much more when we return.
I need to try it first.
And he scores!
Our halftime highlights brought to you by Scenic Community Credit Union, and things started off in the 13th minute. Lukic splits it out wide for Pedro Hernandez, sends it up front where Siobhan Marsh got the header through to open up the scoring in the 13th minute of play. That provided Siobhan Marsh with his 19th goal in USL League One. And Pedro Hernandez got his first assist of the season. In the 18th minute, the chances kept going back and forth, as this one was a free runner for Murphy, as he wanted to go for goal but got snuffed out by TJ Bush. John Murphy, he's scored his 2nd goal all the way back in March. Hasn't gotten on the score sheet since, and TJ Bush continues that trend as Rapapa Mensah had a bouncer, had a nice volley too, to try to threaten the net of Burn Shipman, but that one just went a touch wide. But not before, just on the brink of the expiration of halftime. Gebhard in front, Galindres with the left footer just slams that one behind Bush. And after the multiple saves and opportunities that Bush had, it took until shot number 9 to finally get past TJ Bush for the first goal for Madison. As we take a look at the halftime stats, as we mentioned, 9 shot attempts from Madison, 3 were on target. And it's one of the things that Scott McKenzie said is really kind of not necessarily the issue, but has been a recurring trend that TJ Bush is an amazing shot stopper, but they don't want him to have to stop so many shots. And if they've allowed 9 at this point to halftime, who knows how much that total will balloon to going into the second half, especially with the Mingos having about 2/3 of the possessions, a half a dozen corners to boot as well, and they are threatening the back line quite a bit. Are Forward Madison, considering that they've gone for it vertically so many times. They've been offside 3 times. And with Chattanooga, discipline has been one of their big issues. They have the most yellow cards in the league. They've got 3. They both got some dangerous opportunities because of those yellow cards. Yes, Madison have one back, but because of the guys they just returned from red card suspension, they don't want to put them back on suspension if they were to double up. As we take a look back pitch side with Chattanooga and Madison, we're at 1-1 aside as we await the start of the second half of play. Madison will go from right to left to start the second half. Chattanooga from left to right. As we await the start of the second half. We start off half number 2 after we were knotted up at 1. Both sides are looking for a go-ahead. Chattanooga might be content with the tie, but every single opportunity provides a chance to continue building momentum. As it goes Hernandez to Marsh again before he's cut off by Shalaka. Shalaka could not control, so that will be a corner kick for Chattanooga, only their third of the game. Chattanooga with losses in 6 of the last 8. They want to cut that trend. Chance for Omar Hernandez to send the in-swinger. Up for grabs, headed down, bobbled, no name, loose! Stopped by Shipman and out. Back-to-back corners go for Chattanooga. Back-to-back corners for Chattanooga. Those are corners number 3 and 4. Now a chance for an outswinger for the Wolves. Sent in, headed down as that one got sent off by Mensah, but too high. One substitution made at half. It was Derek Gebhard taking the bench with Aiden Macias, who will enter the match, as Matt Glazier is the first one to break in terms of the substitutions being made. As a quick stumble from Macias right out of the gate. A little enthusiastic, if you want to call it that, as he got the tangle up on Gustavo Fernandez. Foul on Walefi will provide another set piece for Madison. They've had a couple of these deep in the Chattanooga end. Madison's getting the stoppages, and the official giving the warning to Jamil Roberts because he's already on very thin ice. He came back from red card suspension versus Knoxville 2 games ago, missed the Lexington match, and he's already on a yellow card, which only took him under half an hour to get. And if he gets a second one, doesn't just put Chattanooga in a tough place because they've got 10, but they gotta miss Roberts for another one. But all he gets is a warning, and Boyce is ready to serve. (1-1) in the 49th. Boyce in front, too far. Goal kick for TJ Bush. As we take a quick look one more time at the opening goal for Chattanooga, just sent in towards center where Siobhan Marsh was able to get the header, his first goal in nearly 2 months. It was Lukic to Hernandez, and Hernandez to Marsh. As all of the goals from the Chattanooga Red Wolves brought to you by Jonathan's Grill. Skip up ahead, Lukic wants to chip it upward. Down for Mensah, cut off by Madison. Eventually they clear, and Boyce gets past one, got past Falla. Boyce has green grass, wants Galindras in front, but it's Bush electing to let that one fly by him, and Galindras was offside. A quick little look at section 117. This was taken just before the start of the match. It has been rededicated here at CHI Memorial Stadium with special guest gold medalist Olivia Reeves, who was here pre-game with the ceremonial coin toss. The Chattanooga native took home Team USA's first women's weightlifting gold medal in 24 years, capped off with an Olympic record of a 117-kilogram snatch. The Red Wolves have elected to rename Section 117 as the Olivia Reeves Championship Corner, introduced earlier today. Reeves said that she's grateful to have a relationship with the team, and having this dedication to her name is a real honor and something that she'll cherish. Chattanooga's finest representing her squad, and the Red Wolves have done the exact same in return. And we could potentially be seeing more gold medals pile up for Team USA with the Paralympics going on, where they walked out of Paris in the Olympic Games a couple weeks ago with the tie for the most gold medals across the entire games, and they continue to cook in the Paralympics as well. But now trying to cook things up is Wolfgang Prentice. Cuts inside, Prentice with a try. He goes up high. Watch out, those bounce houses might have a special ball in play as well. But Bush will send it off. CHI Memorial Stadium in Chattanooga, Tennessee. Ryan Lee and our entire ESPN Plus broadcast crew with the USL League One regular season of play. 7 matches remain in the regular season, 6 after tonight's set of games. But that pass gets cut off by Madison before it's a quick pan by Jake Krull for Sosa. Nothing to speak of in terms of action in the first 7 minutes of the half, but now a chance here for Madison. 2-on-1 they go, fires, and just goes wide. Murphy wanted to do it by himself. He had Galindres wide open for a tap-in, but Murphy wanted his first goal since March and couldn't get it done. As you see, John Murphy, just trying to go by himself. He had the defense beat. Only one there back was Fernandez. Could have gotten Galindres on the tap-in, but elected to go himself. All replays brought to you by Rodriguez Dentistry. Score with a winning smile. And the only one smiling there was TJ Bush, and a sigh of relief to cap it off. But he got defended again. He's got Galindres one-on-one. Galindres was offside. Chattanooga, their 2-2 shootout win against Lexington in the Jägermeister Cup, snapped a 4-game losing streak. Madison had a PK win against Omaha in the final round of the Jägermeister Cup to continue an unbeaten streak and stretch it to 5. 1 win and 4 draws compile that 5-game unbeaten streak for the Mingos. Unlike their 8-game winning streak back in May and June that had 7 wins to it. But now, speaking of 7, Wolfgang Prentice attempted to cut inside. Bouncer goes for Galindres. Has to adjust the boot, but Macias and Boyce go back and forth to just buy some time for Galindres to get back into it, and he's back up. Boyce wanted Sosa too far. It's all Bush. And when you see Madison's long string of results, it's just been about trying to make the most out of the opportunities. And Matt Glazier said that it just goes your own way sometimes, and it's just a combination of things that allow those strings of results and points to fall your way. He just said it's a very simple recipe. It's trying your best plus a little bit of good performance with a sprinkle of luck. What a recipe that would be, considering how there's a lot of things you can and cannot control in the mix But you can see Matt Glazier in that black polo trying to direct traffic for his Madison side as they win another throw. Select is the official match ball supplier of the USL Championship and many elite leagues throughout Europe. Visit us.select-sport.com for the latest Select product specials and more. Select is the player's choice. Macias subbed in at half. Took a quick chop down from Mensah. And both teams want to continue their respective results, especially with what's in store for both sides. Madison only 4 points out of the #1 spot in the regular season table. Chattanooga 1 point out of the 8th and final playoff spot. Barring the results that may come with Tormenta and Spokane just above them. Villalobos wants to cut it through for Sosa, but the only one in the direction was Bush. The Chattanooga Red Wolves have been trying to use that PK comeback win versus Lexington as a point of inspiration to potentially kick off a playoff run, as that one got kicked off for Marsh, who's got Hernandez. Lukic has options, slips it for Siobhan Marsh. Quick takedown there, drops it in front, and that one got swatted out by Shipman. Oh boy, that one had heat to it, but Shipman was ice cold. Corner coming up for Chattanooga. It was dropped off for Jamil Roberts, and Shipman had to dive and get the hand out. One of the reasons why he's been one of the best in USL League One, and why he continues to be one of the #1 guys for Matt Glazier. He started every game this season, has Shipman. He has to stop a corner kick. In front, headed down, bobble up in the air, and Shipman's the only one there with the hands. Villalobos slides it for Kroll. He's got Galindres on the near side. Galindres returns, and Madison will slow things down a bit. We've mentioned Madison's chase to catch, and now it's going to be a potential booking, as it appears to be a card coming out, and it'll be in the direction of Faraday Sosa. All yellow cards on the visiting side are brought to you by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office, as Faraday Sosa was the one who had that square off with Jamil Roberts. As we take another look here, it was Sosa and Roberts, and you could just see that yank down of the shorts. Sosa wanted to prevent Roberts there, as they've got some backups ready. So for anybody who might be seeing this, Jamil Roberts still wearing his classic #3 kit, but the shorts do say 78. And assuming that these aren't sized by their numbers, we might be looking at some basketball shorts here, but we'll see how things go carrying on. Leo Fala. Right into the crowd it goes. Madison will take the throw. Body Armor is the official sports drink of the Chattanooga Red Wolves. Intercepted there, it was cut off by Gustavo Fernandez, but couldn't corral. Now it's a chance for Wolfgang Prentice. Prentice charges up, Prentice! He's wide, goal kick for Bush. Wolfgang Prentice, he's on loan for the second time from the Oakland Roots of the USL Championship, making his 10th start with forward Madison. And with Prentice, he had time with the Oakland Roots and got sent to Northern Colorado Hailstorm back in 2022. He got sent back to USL League One this year and last, both with forward Madison. So by technicality standpoint, this is Prentice's third stint in USL League One, but two of those were both to forward Madison. As a 23-year-old from Redondo Beach, California, awaits his opportunity to be one of the staples on that root side. As Kroll finds Prentice again. Chopped down by Murphy. Macias. Leaves it. Prentice to serve. Interrupted, still in play. John Murphy goes for goal, but he's just missed the net once again. And John Murphy, he wants that third goal of the season. He just hasn't hit. As we take a look here, that little opportunity from Murphy. Had a nice pocket there to try to get the lane to go. Just couldn't bury it. Another 23-year-old. The center midfielder spent last season with South Georgia Tormenta, the side that Chattanooga is currently trying to catch up on in the regular season standings. Back heel for Prentice. Gets pestered and taken down from Pedro Hernandez. I'm sure the team from Statesboro and Ian Cameron are watching very closely for tonight's match, because any points for Chattanooga has an opportunity to jump South Georgia in the regular season standings. As if you take the live standings as of right now, Chattanooga are in, Tormenta are out. With the #1 tiebreaker being wins in the regular season. Chattanooga's got 5, Tormenta's got 4. Prentice, Kroll, towards center, bobbled in front, Lucas to cut it off, but not for long, is recovered by Villalobos. Only one substitution to note of, Macias for Gebhard. Galindres tangled up, couldn't get loose. Bobble at center, Villalobos recovers, back and forth it goes, Villalobos has Prentice all alone, Prentice 1v1 scores! The Wolf against the Wolves, 2-1 for Madison. Wolfgang Prentice, how do you do? He's on a bit of a heater as he gets that one past TJ Bush. That's goals in back-to-back for Wolfgang Prentice. as that little turnover in the defensive end by Chattanooga allowed Madison to get the feed off. Prentice had nobody in front of him and just picks that far post and just chills out on the corner. That's Prentice in the 66th. Goal number 5 extends a career high for Prentice. Give him a half a dozen in a Mingo's jersey. As we appear to be getting ready for a triple substitution from Scott McKenzie. As we see Rapapa Mensah exiting amongst the many, with Mael Mwongo, who will be returning from his red card suspension. We also have Yair Paez entering the match as well. So right after the goal, Scott McKenzie elects for a triple substitution. A chance all alone, settle down in front, and that one got poked up, but not before it's cut off by Bush on the attempt there by Christian Cheney, who enters the match as well. So not only did Scott McKenzie elect for substitutions, Matt Glazier did as well. Cheney goes down. He got chopped down from behind by Declan Waters. So Christian Cheney and Declan Waters, Mael Mwongo and Yair Paez all make substitutions after that goal. The goal scorer, Prentice, has it once more as he charges up ahead. Prentice has a lane. Prentice goes for the brace, but Bush is there instead. Prentice from Villalobos. So that's a couple of ex-Red Wolves making goal contributions against the former club. Villalobos got an assist versus Omaha. That was enough to give him a Team of the Week of the Jägermeister Cup Round 8. In match start number 100. Appearance 110 for Villalobos. We talked about Juan Galindrez getting that first goal for Madison. The two ex-Red Wolves on this Madison side, getting it done against their former club. But Lukic wants to ignite the response. Lukic to serve in. He's got Mwongo tangled up. Kroll eventually gets rid of it. As it's Boyce and Roberts once more. And eventually a quick little tie-up that appears to be Villalobos and Mwongo. And this will go Chattanooga's direction. Set piece given to Chattanooga. An opportunity to tie. They're down 2-1 in the 71st. Lukic in the area, skims off the head of Christian Cheney, But what's the decision? Did they say Cheney touched it? They say it went overhead. The ruling is that it went overhead, so it's a Burns Shipman goal kick. Can't watch the match? Turn on Sirius XMFC 157, North America's only 24/7 source for engaging soccer talk, including USL All Access, Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern. Plus, hear live matches from the USL, MLS, Premier League, and more, all on Sirius XMFC 157 and the new Sirius XM app. So after the 5 substitutions made across the two sides, it goes as follows. Declan Waters is in for Gustavo Fernandez. Pedro Hernandez goes to the bench in favor of Yair Baez. And Mael Malongo and Rapapa Mensah will swap. Christian Cheney allows the ex-Red Wolf Juan Galindres and the goal scorer to take a squat as a chance for Madison in front, and they double down on their lead. It's 3-1 Madison, off the bench, on the board, Aiden Macias. Just a quick bobble up in front as the bounces just went Madison's direction. Another centering feed right near the penalty dot. A nice little back heel there to allow Stephen Payne, who is also coming off the bench, to find Macias in front. The substitution strike, as that one was Payne to Macias, both of them getting on the score sheet after coming off of the bench. And we're at 3-1 forward Madison. It was Payne for Sosa. And to start the half, it was Macias for Gebhard. Cheney's in for Galindres as well. In front, now a chance for response. Marsh for the brace. Marsh gets past Shipman, but hits the outside of the frame. And now Burns Shipman is down, and Mail is calling for attention on the Madison keeper. And also another substitution being made by the Mingos. This time it's Sharif J for Devin Boyce. Boyce is on a yellow, so they want to put that one on the bench. As the chaos of this game continues to ensue. You saw the board flash up. As we see the entrance of Sharif J, making his 49th appearance in USL League One, spent the last 2 seasons with Central Valley Fuego, made his way this season in his first go-around with Forward Madison for the 26-year-old from Senegal. Good news for Madison. Shipman's back up. We have not seen Martin Sanchez all year round, and the good news for Madison fans, they will continue to see their 29-year-old keeper stay in play as he sends off the goal kick after the shot goes wide off the foot of Siobhan Marsh. Deep try, settled by Waters. The 72nd minute goal from Stephen Payne in front for Aiden Macias. Chattanooga right now, they're down by 2. And Ian Cameron can breathe in front, but that one got off the post and across, and it goes for a corner. Oh boy, that one looked like it was wide, but it clipped the fingertips of Shipman, the inside of the post and across. Quick goes. Chance in front. Scramble, shoots, saved by Shipman. Off of the feet in front from Mayamalongo. So that one was a couple of shots on net for Chattanooga, as they gave that one to a corner for Chattanooga as it grazed the fingertips. And Lucas Coutinho was the one who took that second attempt on the follow-up. Cut off by Jean Hope to prevent Jake Krull from advancing any further. As things will settle down, Madison in no rush with a dozen minutes left to go. Metro is the official HVAC company of the Chattanooga Red Wolves. I'm sure with a 2-goal deficit on Chattanooga, Ian Cameron and South Georgia Tormenta, they're breathing a bit of a sigh of relief right now, as they, as of now, are still in the top 8. Madison's full 3 points, assuming they hold on to the lead, will not allow Chattanooga to tie in points with Tormenta. And once again, that's a lot of ifs, but those ifs can get squashed in the last 12 minutes plus stoppage. Last off a player in red, so it's a Madison throw once more. Couple of results of note with Omaha and Greenville Triumph going back and forth. They just come out of the half, squared off at 1. And with the points shifting around, Madison, they're not just looking at taking care of business themselves, but they could come out of the weekend in second, depending on the results of that Omaha-Madison game, with Northern Colorado right on their tails, who have made some way in their games as well. With 10 minutes left to go, it's Wolfgang Prentice. He scored the go-ahead. Prentice in front. Jay cut off by Coutinho. So it's Coutinho for Omar Hernandez. That was the substitution earlier, as we're in the 80th minute. Unfortunate bounce. It went right for Sharif J, but could not corral, as it's spun around by Chattanooga, who most certainly have some tough opponents ahead of them, especially if they want to make their way back into the playoff picture. We mentioned how Tormenta, especially because they're only a single point ahead of Chattanooga, they're the ones watching this one probably the closest. Spokane is in 7th, but they are 7 points clear of Chattanooga going into today. So it's really a 3-pony race, maybe even all of the teams from 8 to 12, from Tormenta, Chattanooga, Lexington, Richmond, and Central Valley, all separated by 5 points with Tormenta on top. But now Madison's on top, they want to extend. Sharif J sends that one in the general direction of Bush, but he settles things down as he allows Declan Waters to make the next decision. Madison will have to play a midweek game against the Charlotte Independents for the Jägermeister Cup semifinals. That semifinals on Wednesday. They don't want Chattanooga to come back here, as they got to against Lexington after going down 2-0 against LSC. Paez with a strip. Lukic. Coutinho. Coutinho hesitates, wiggles past, slides around, wanted to center, but Roberts has Payne, and Payne could not corral cleanly, so it becomes corner number 5 of the half for Chattanooga, number 7 on the day. It is Lukic to take. Lukic, outswinger, in front, scramble, and that one got cleared by Macias. Bush at the center line to keep the ball up pitch. Essentially, in essence, going empty net already with 7.5 minutes to go in the regulation 90. That one just skims out of play. Another corner for Chattanooga. We saw TJ Bush come up to the halfway line earlier, but doesn't seem like they'll do that for this corner. Set pieces have been Achilles' heel for Chattanooga, but they want to try to get in as that one just goes wide. The attempt was made with a couple of red jerseys in the vicinity, but at the end of the day, it's a Burn Shipman goal kick. The USL Championship and League One are on CBS Sports and ESPN platforms all season long. Catch live matches and expert analysis every day on the CBS Sports Golazo Network and ESPN+. Go to USLChampionship.com or USLLeague1.com for the complete USL TV listings. Oh. 5 minutes left to go in regulation. Madison have the set piece. Good news for Madison is that despite that midweek game versus Charlotte, they've got 2 weeks until their next regular season match where they host Spokane back at Breese Stevens Field. But to start off October, a 2-game road trip gauntlet. Knoxville and Charlotte in back-to-back weeks before they go back to Breese Stevens to host Chattanooga and wrap things up, or approach the wrap-up with one Knox at home. First, they have to continue to get the business done, but Coutinho just gives that one away. Coutinho with a slip, an opportunity for the Mingos. In front, Cheney couldn't get it down, but it's a chance for Sharif J, who hits the outside of the net. Bush goes quick. Chattanooga, they're back here at CHI Memorial Stadium. They get to play the Greenville Triumph, who are also looking to continue advancing up the standings. And Chattanooga will also head to the Rockies, where they play against the Hailstorm of Northern Colorado before seeing One Knox on a visit. Lukic awaits his options. Chips it up, cut off, still available for Roberts. Service in the area, bobbles around, no one in red able to claim it clean. So it's just going to be dumped away by Madison, where Christian Cheney is all alone. Scored the game-tying goal versus Union Omaha. That was enough for him to get Team of the Week of Jägermeister Cup Round 8. The ball is back in play as Shipman comes out, and eventually Shipman just sends it up. Chattanooga want to push up. We saw TJ Bush come up on the halfway line. That pseudo empty netter, but now they have to be back on defense. Jay couldn't connect with Macias. Siobhan Marsh splits it out. A drive for goal, takes a deflection before Burn Shipman makes the save. Madison want to claim the top of the table, or at least get close. They were 4 points behind the Charlotte Independents going into the game, 3 points behind going into today. But Charlotte's draw with One Knox kind of shook things up, so it allowed Charlotte an extra point of wiggle room. Now the one looking for room is Mael Malongo. Malongo along the end line, keeps it in play. Coutinho up top, but referees say that it crossed the end line completely before Malongo kept it in, so it's going to be a Burn Shipman goal kick with just under 2 minutes to go in regulation time. eFootball 2024 is here. Live your dream, rep your team, and play as your favorite USL Championship club. eFootball is free to play. Download now. As we keep talking about the playoff race with Charlotte, Jägermeister Cup semifinals on Wednesday. Charlotte and Madison, top of the Central versus top of the East. A chance to not only make one playoff for Madison, but a chance to get some production done in 2 playoffs, as Sharif J is laboring on that far sideline. As we take a second look here with Jay. Good news, he's back on his feet, but before that, it was Jay and Roberts. Roberts, he did get the successful slide, but at the expense, he was right next to Jay's feet. Macias wants to bobble it up as he has to get it away from Coutinho. Macias on the return. Is there a chance for 4? Macias goes by himself, just wraps around for Prentice. Prentice center, shoots for Villalobos. That one's too high. Nice little chuck there from a couple of spectators along the side. Those bounce houses in the corners deflating like what's left of the play clock with the final seconds of the 90. The announcement upcoming that we've got an extra 5 to go in this game. Bouncer settled and cleared by Madison. throw-in in favor of Chattanooga. Coca-Cola is the exclusive soft drink of the Chattanooga Red Wolves. Chip up ahead, Chattanooga cannot control, but they do get possession on the throw-in as it last went off of a white jersey there. And it's been more or less of a multi-year progression for Matt Glazier since taking over as the Forward Madison head coach, as his side are continuously fighting for the top of the table. After barely making the playoffs last year, they were the 6th and final playoff seed in 2023, and in Coach Glazier's opening year, the debut in 2022, Chattanooga made the League One final, but Madison, they were out of it completely. Shipman falls on it. And having veterans like Burn Shipman is one of the reasons for this 3-year progression since Matt Glazier took over as the head coach of Forward Madison. As the Red Wolves faithful continue to show their voice, because with Chattanooga, assuming they don't make this multi-goal comeback like they did versus Madison, they've still got a fight going up ahead. 5 teams within 6 points of one another in one playoff slot amongst those 5. Christian Cheney, after the end of that kerfuffle, got a yellow. All the yellows on the away side are brought to you by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office. Served into the area, 50-50 ball, one up by Timmy Mayo. Murphy continues to let that one bobble where it's settled down. Lukic chips it up, a chance in front, and Marsh tried to get a second, but he got tangled up. 3 minutes of 5 in stoppage. Walefi dos Reyes. Coutinho. Waters. Waters to serve, cut off by Shalaka, still up for grabs, it's Macias. Quick strike out there, but Coutinho had a little too much on that one as he took down his man, Macias. Macias scored the 3rd goal back in the 72nd minute on the assist from Stephen Payne. That was Macias' 3rd goal of the season to overtake a new career high for the 24-year-old striker from London. Back on his own 2 feet, always a great sight to see. Wolfgang Prentice and Juan Galindres, the other 2 goal scorers for Madison. Chattanooga opened things up, however, from Siobhan Marsh in the 13th minute. Madison have conceded first only 6 times this season, 7 if you include today. But in those prior 6, they only mustered out a single win. And if you include today, their record when conceding first jumps to 2-5-0. Aiden Macias with a strip, as he might just be content on letting this clock run out, or maybe they might try to pack it on. Christian Cheney has Sharif J. Northern Colorado amongst the many who are within that top half of the table. NoCo, 1 Knox, the Mingo, Charlotte, Greenville, and Omaha, those top 6 slots. It's a dogfight. 5 points separate those top 6 slots. And they've got a lot to play for with the player shield and home pitch advantage. Foul goes against Madison, and if you're any of those teams in USL League One, playing in front of an environment like Breese Stevens Field in the conditions, no less. We're talking late October in Wisconsin. As we just saw the Green Bay Packers the other day start the NFL season, the weather by the time the playoffs start will only make things more interesting, assuming Madison can claim the top 4. They do sit so right now with the live standings. They sit at 3rd when it's all said and done today. Cheney just content with getting possession and letting this clock tick. And that's exactly what Madison will do. They'll just go back and forth and let Chattanooga go on the chase. Takedown once more, no whistle called. Madison have Charlotte on Wednesday in the Jägermeister Cup semis. As there is a player down all the way in the corner. That is John Murphy, who is laboring right now. Murphy holding on to his face right now. Good news is that we're beyond the 5 minutes of stoppage. It's all a matter of when the head official, Igor Bajc, decides to blow the final whistle. Madison have had 3/5 of the possession in this game. 6 shots on target for both squads, but total shots are 18-15 in favor of Madison. Kind of gives you an overall perspective on how things have gone. Madison's been offside 6 times as well. So a lot of why Madison have succeeded in this game is getting up pitch and doing so quickly. Murphy's still slow to get up as he continues to grab at his head and face area. Technically speaking, Coach Glazier has only used 4 subs, but with the way the clock winds up, they might just finish off with 10. Resume play. Madison get 3 to get 3. 3-1 is the final score, and they will walk into the Jägermeister Cup semis with 6 straight unbeaten. Chattanooga yet to win in regulation in their last 6. And that's how we finish things with a 3-1 Madison win. Our man of the match is brought to you by Timber Craft Whiskey. And it all started off on the home side from the feed from Pedro Hernandez to Siobhan Marsh on that near post on the header. It was Lukic to Hernandez, Hernandez across for Marsh. Marsh's 19th goal in USL League One. The first goal in nearly 2 months. And Siobhan Marsh is our Timber Craft Whiskey man of the match. As the Chattanooga Red Wolves continue to support their side. And we mentioned their struggles as of late. Winless in regulation in the past 6. That full time is 3-1 in favor of Madison. Brought to you by Smart Bank. More from this match when we return.
Do you know how fast you were going? 2.5 gig. With kids on the couch.
New 2.5 gig internet from EPB.
Slow down.
It's recklessly fast.
Too fast.
With SmartNet plus Wi-Fi.
Violation.
Turbocharging all your devices. More than twice the speed of the gig for just a little.
I need to try it first.
We return here at CHI Memorial Stadium in Chattanooga, Tennessee. Final score, 3 for Madison, 1 for Chattanooga, brought to you by SmartBank. It's been a very happy night for Matt Glazier and Ford Madison as we take a look at our full-time highlights brought to you by CHI Memorial in this 90-minute affair between Madison and Chattanooga. Things started off only 13 minutes in. The reception from Marsh off of the feed from Hernandez. A nice passing play. All started off by the Serbian forward, Stefan Lukic, to bury it for the Jamaican forward, Siobhan Marsh. And at the 45-minute mark, just when Chattanooga thought they could walk into the half with a potential lead, Juan Galindra says otherwise, the ex-Red Wolf, who spent 2 years with the organization, gets the opening goal for Madison. This is the game-tying goal. This made this thing 1-1 going into halftime. And in the 65th minute, it was just a solo effort. Wolfgang Prentice, all the time and space in the world, after a stoppage, saw him in a bit of a blown coverage as well. And in the 72nd minute, only about a half dozen after that last goal, it was Stephen Payne to Aiden Macias. Both Payne and Macias coming off of the bench to get on the score sheet, where this thing would be buried 3-1. Well, that'll pretty much do it here as we look at the halftime highlights. A beautiful waning moon as our full-time highlights are brought to you by SmartBank, as possession was pretty much in control of Ford Madison, as are the rest of the stats. A lot of times when teams want to play in possession, it's because they know that when they do so, they can generate more opportunities, and that's pretty much what happened here. 60% possession, the shots on target were even, but the shot attempts, there was some discrepancy there. And when you consider the other things like the offsides, the ability to push things up pitch, and the overall scoreline, it kind of tends to translate one way or another. But Chattanooga, if they want a chance to catch Tormenta, they'll have to wait next week when Greenville pays a visit. Madison, they can carry this win into the Jägermeister Cup semis before playing Spokane at home 2 weeks from now. Well, that will do it for us here at CHI Memorial Stadium in Chattanooga, Tennessee. A thrilling bit of action here between Madison and Chattanooga. 3-1, the final score is brought to you by SmartBank. That'll do it for us here and our entire ESPN Plus crew. Thank you so much for joining us. My name's Ryan Lee. Have a great rest of your night.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League League One cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League League One.